Crime scene cleaners of Reddit, what's the hardest part about your job physically or mentally? Not a CS cleaner, but former military police. I threw away an otherwise good pair of boots when I was an MP because I found some hair and scalp wedged in the tread. We had responded to a gunshot in base housing, and because this happened on a nuke base, we had to treat it as potentially hostile. I was first through the door, and immediately got my rifle on a mid-30s male with an SKS old-school 7.62 semi-auto rifle, like an AK. Right as I was about to begin issuing commands to drop the weapon and all that, I realized that he was dead and half of his head was all over the room, including a piece right under my boot. His wife had sent him pictures, videos, and nasty letters from her deployment in Iraq. She was cheating on him with everyone and said she was divorcing when she got home. So he shot himself. Where I live in Canada, we don't have crime scene cleaners. My close friend was murdered at another friend's of ours house. The OPP crime unit came in after the arrest and did their investigation, but made my friend leave his house for 2 days while they did it. When they were allowed to come home, his wife had to clean my friend's brains and blood off their stairs. I watched her do it. I always assumed the police would clean the murder scene up after they were done investigating. But that's not how it works up here apparently. Not crime scene, but a plumber who has been called to disconnect or inspect utilities after a suicide. The worst one was a fellow plumber. He was around my age and the way things just move on really hit hard. I had to verify the house wasn't flooding, which meant walking through the house and checking the kitchen and bathrooms. He had a calendar with scheduled plans, dog training classes, etc. He was found with his dogs, so the police put a sticker on the door that stated they took them to the pound. He lived a whole life in this house, and as soon as he shot himself, the world just moved on as if he never existed. Super hard to see. Not crime scene, but I pick up after traumas in the trauma bay sometimes. The numerous missed call sticks hit different. Or the iPhone alerts of looks like you've been in a crash. The Trauma Cleaner is a really great book I listened to, and it's a memoir. There was a passage that is really not for the faint of heart though, and does not have to do with her current occupation. I had to use one of these services for a relative who died and was undiscovered for days, and I asked that exact question. The guy told me it was dealing with family members desperate to know if their loved one suffered or if it was quick. He always gave the same answer, that from what he can see, they went quickly even when it's clear to him it wasn't as pleasant and pain-free as he's portraying. I worked in a hospital for a few years. Part of my job was to meet the police or funeral director who would bring the bodies into the morgue to be stored. Often had suicides, some grim-looking shit. Had a few people ask me how I could deal with seeing it. I just said that to me it's all just meat, blood, bones, muscle, except this was a person who was no longer alive. I still treated that person with respect, dignity, saw some ordinary stuff, but they were still people to me. Go take a look at our crime scene and let your imagination run wild. Crime scene wouldn't be bad. The coroner is the tough part. I've helped and it can get pretty bad. Not on crime scenes, but many fatality scenes. As an aside, I really enjoyed this series, which I streamed on BritBox. The Cleaner, https. There is an English TV series about it. A well-known English comedian portraying a crime scene cleaner. It's a great show. And funny. Should answer all your questions. A person can get used to anything, though I doubt those gentlemen are humming a cheerful tune on their way to work. I don't clean crime scenes, but I do have a toilet bowl. Must be brain spillator under the seat. How does it get there? Big gun.